Good morning, my YouTube beauties. I wanted to talk about something that was heavy on my mind, and it's just a really, really sad topic, but I wanted to talk about it briefly, and it's just a ongoing topic, unfortunately, and it's not just a black woman thing, it's happening with white women as well. Missing women and murdered women. All the cases that I've seen pretty much, from Scott Peterson to Gabby to Keira Coles, just a lot of Chicago women that's missing. One thing that they all have in common, and I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds to answer. What do they all have in common beside all being women? They're all in relationships, guys. Let that marinate. And it just made me believe and think that if these women were okay with being alone, they probably would be alive and with their families and happy. And we have to stop putting emphasis on relationships because, to be honest, not everybody could get a man. Why? Because right here in this country, and just in general, for every 10 women is one man. That's the general. It's way more of us than them because of war and everything else and poverty and jail. And it's more men in jail than women. So somebody's not going to have a man. That's just what it is. Not to mention gay men, not to mention DL men, not to mention men that's married, and whether you know it or not, you might be sharing. So, but I found it interesting because I was watching the case of Keira Coles, which was the postal worker that's been missing since 2017. And no, 2018 she's been missing. And she was working for the Postal Service. The soon-to-be alleged father, he also worked for the post office, and they were from the Chicago area. Now, it was said that he had a family, and that first baby mother, girlfriend, she was not allowed to come to his house. So that's the first sign. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, so many times us as women, we get to a place in life, we just listen to all the negativity, and it's like, oh, you need to be with somebody. Anytime when a man says you can't come over, you can't engage yourself. You can't, because obviously there's another woman in his life, and obviously she knew that. There's no way she didn't know that, and the mother said that she was not allowed to come to his house. So it was, and the mother said it was the other baby mother that said that, which means that he was living with her. Because if you're broken up with the first baby mother, why would it be an issue if that's his house? Let's say if he's living by himself, why she can't come over? That's the first red flag. And I know I would hate to be pregnant in a relationship for 6 years and I can't come over. That's when you have to look at your relationship, ladies, and say, I deserve more than this. And that's what made me be, just, you got to review your relationship and say, am I happy? Forget what society says. Am I happy? Am I really happy with this man? Do I want to be in this situation? Am I ashamed of, because I could imagine she was ashamed of that, telling her mother, and then that's embarrassing. You can't go to your alleged man's house. You're the side chick at that point, and you need to accept it and either use protection. I don't know why nobody wants to use condoms, but it's okay to wear condoms, or just don't deal with the nigga at all. It's not worth it. you know. And then she goes missing and he doesn't help look for her. The mother said his whole demeanor changed. And then I feel like the mother was protecting him because she's like, well, I didn't want to assume that he did anything. It's like, no, you have to assume, because why is it that he doesn't care that his child's mother is missing? Like, he should have been the first one to be on that mic, to be in the news, like, where is Keira? And the lack of him caring, to me, that's a red flag. And the fact that he had another baby mother and she can't come to the house, those are all signs. All signs. And the sad part about that story is that she was pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant. And, you know, by now, the child is like 3 or 4 years old. And, you know, the family, nobody knows where this girl is. She was 26 at the time. By now, she would have been 30. You know, so, you know, where is she? And I feel like wherever she is, that boyfriend, you know, that was being a player, he knows exactly where she is. And the fact that he's not a suspect, shame on the police department. Shame on the mother too, because I know if it was my child, I'm following him everywhere. He come out of work, I'm there. He come out of church, I'm there. I would follow him. And then I would hire somebody, a PI or something, to follow him. Like, I would go so deep. I would not wait for no police department, because this is what people don't realize. Police officers are human, right? So your family member, whoever is missing, they got to deal with your family member in 100 other cases. So they're dealing with rape, they're dealing with domestic violence, they're dealing with all different type of cases. Everything is not a racist issue. One of the guys came on the mic and was like, we have to protect our sisters. You know, this is not an issue of, oh, well, the police department and racism. It has nothing to do with that, honestly. It has to do with people need to stop putting their hands on a female. People need to stop abusing women. And if you don't want to be with somebody, leave them. You don't kill them. You know, and that's what's wrong with society. People are dealing with their problems through violence. And then the scary thing is, most of these men, they're not beating on these women. Say, for instance, Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson never hit his wife. Never hit her. The only red flag that was there is the first pregnancy, he made her get an abortion, which is very strange for a married couple. And I wanted to tell my ladies, if you're pregnant and a man tells you to get an abortion, please leave him, please. Because even if you stay with him and have a kid, another kid for him, it's gonna be hell. I've never heard of any woman, and I know a lot of people, I've never heard of any woman that had an abortion for a guy, turned around, had his baby, and it was a successful relationship. He's going to resent you and those kids that you have after that abortion. And he might stick around, but he going to cheat. He going to treat the kids half-assed. Like, he's not going to put his 100%. Now, it's not to say if a man tell you keep the baby, he going to be 100% either, but at least is no resentment. At least it's not, oh, well, I ain't tell you to have them kids no way. Because a man will tell you that to your face. I ain't tell you to have them kids no way. And then you got girls that have multiple abortions for a dude, and then they still have 2 or 3 kids for him. Don't do that to yourself, ladies. Don't do it. The Scott Peterson case, you know, it's just sad. You know, they talked about it. I seen like at least 2 or 3 documentaries, and everybody thought they was the, you know, perfect couple. Everybody thought they was happy. The wife thought they was happy, and she didn't see it coming. Christmas Day, he kills her and the unborn child. And previous to that pregnancy, he made her get an abortion. So it's like you can't help but to wonder, what if she would have just had the strength to leave him? Like, you know what, you don't want to be with me, you don't want this baby, but she loved him so much. She loved him more than she loved herself. And you can't do that, because then it's like a one-sided relationship. It's just so sad. But yes, I just wanted everybody to dwell on that, marinate that. Don't let nobody tell you different. And a few months ago, I wanted to share something. A few months ago, I'll never forget, this is one of my older coworkers, and he was like, his daughter is grown. She got, she's like in her 20s. And he's like, he's worried about her because she don't have nobody and she don't have no kids. I said, you should be very proud of your daughter that she's not nobody's baby mama. At the end of the day, I love my son, but to have a child with somebody that you're not with, and somebody that you didn't want or didn't work out or whatever, it's very annoying. And you're tied to that person for life, whether you like it or not. You gotta go to graduations and birthdays and, yeah, you see them grow up and you see them grow, and that's a beautiful thing. But I was telling him, like, you should be very proud of her that she's single with no kids. Good. Because look at what's going on in the world. It's not worth it. And then the people that's not dying at the hands of their partner, they're not necessarily happy. There's very few people that are actually happy in their relationship. Very few people. I can count on one hand how many people are genuinely happy. And I can tell when somebody's genuinely happy in their relationship. It's an aura that you have. It's the way you carry yourself when you're genuinely happy in your relationship. You're not miserable towards people. Just at work, you can tell who's happy and who's not happy. You could tell. They don't have to say nothing. Like with this particular coworker, he's happily married. Before he even said he was married, I knew he was happily married. He's lucky. He's one of the lucky ones, And he's like, oh, I know women that's in their 40s and they don't have nobody and they crying every night. And I'm like, how do you know that? You're not with them. I'm like, that's an assumption. I'm not crying every night. I'm 34, but, I'm very happy. And it's like, I was thinking about that this morning. Like, to be honest, this is one of the happiest moments in my life, and I'm single. I'm alone. And it feels good to not have to worry about being mistreated and begging somebody for loyalty. And please, who got time for that? And if it's meant for me, I'm at a point in my life when I'm like, you know what? If it's meant for me to have somebody, I'll have somebody. If not, I won't. But I'm not going to compromise my standards ever again. I'll casually date. I might get some dick here and there. But to sit down and have a relationship with somebody and they're not giving me their 100%, I'm not going to do that. And right now I'm celibate anyway. So I'm to myself until I find that right person. I don't want no heathens anymore, because that was my problem before. I can't be with a man who don't pray. Because when shit hit the fan, you need to do other things than turn to substances. I'm not doing all the praying. That's ridiculous. Who's going to pour into me? And more than one person said that to me, like, oh, you pouring. Somebody needs to pour into you. That's what a relationship is, pouring into each other, not one-sided. I learned so much about myself in my last experience. First of all, my standards was to the floor. My self-esteem was to the floor. So, of course, I'm going to get back garbage because I didn't even think well of myself. My younger self was smarter than my older self. My younger, who Crystal was at 25, would never get involved with something like that. Like, I'm so disgusted with myself for even entertaining such tomfoolery. Just the shit that I went through, and just, I'm not ready to talk about it, but just thinking about it, like, what the fuck was you thinking, Crystal? Just to say you have a man? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And the telltale sign with Keira Coles, that whole scenario is way too common in the black community, ladies. There's no reason why you should, a man, first of all, if you can't even go over to a man's house, there's no reason why you should be claiming him. And there's no reason why he should be in your house to the point he got a key. Nobody should have a key to your house until they put a ring on it. Repeat that. Nobody should ever have a key to your house unless if they put a ring on it. Seriously. All this, he got a key and y'all shacking. There's nothing cute about that. Because then you become his second baby mama. Y'all having all these kids, and guess what? He got a girlfriend here, a girlfriend there. And you know what they'll say to your face? You're not my wife. That's what they'll turn right back around and say. You're not even my fiance. And if you got niggas that's bold enough, oh, you're not they'll say you're the girlfriend one day, and then another day, you're not my girlfriend. And then you might turn around and tell him that too. You're not my man. So to even be involved in that stupidity is really not worth it. And the whole scenario just makes me upset because as a mother, you knew this was going on. Why you ain't tell your daughter, like, yo, you don't need to even be dealing with that. You 26 years old, he got a baby, he got a family, he got, a baby mother and 2 kids. No, you too young and beautiful for that. Start over. Start with somebody who don't have no kids. Don't tolerate that, and you don't have no kids yourself. And it's sad because that was going to be her first child with him. She can't even go to the house. He had a key to her shit, but she can't go she was banned, the mother said. No. And then you raising your child, and then the child can't go to the father's house? I can't even imagine what that would be like for her child. Let's say if she wasn't missing and she had a child. Like, how do you even raise a child to say you can't go to your father's house because his first baby mama said you can't be over there, but he can come over here? What? What do you, oh my God. And it's sad because it's 4 years and she's still missing. It's just so sad. But it's okay to be alone, ladies, when you're not getting treated with the utmost respect. You're here and he's treating you like you're lower than dirt. And then how do you know if a man is treating you lower than dirt? If you feel bad, if he makes you feel like something's wrong with you. Because when you're in a bad relationship, you just be like, you start to question yourself, like, is this something wrong with me? Like, maybe, am I ugly? I'm not ugly. Am I a bad person? I'm not a bad person. So why am I involved in this? Why am I allowing this? And then it's like, then you realize, I don't need this. Like, I'm going to be okay alone. Like Whitney Houston said, I'd rather be alone than unhappy. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. Pack your bags up and leave. Like, for real. For real. And those are my thoughts.